Yesterday, I went to a professional massage therapist for the first time. Now, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this as far as a massage therapy session. And wow, I am super sore today. Like, nobody told me that you were going to get super sore after this. But then again, I didn't really have anybody I knew grew up. Like, people don't do this kind of stuff where I grew up. Like, taking care of your physical vessel was considered as a liability growing up for myself. And in my environment, the people that I was around, taking care of yourself was like a hassle. And so, one thing that I'm really working on, because there's some root chakra and heart chakra stuff that I've been working through as far as just minor attachments that I've been letting go of, is seeing myself more as an asset, my physical vessel specifically, not just my inner self, because I always see my inner self as the best part of me, because that's really the only part of me. But the physical vessel, I'm seeing this more as something to really take care of. You know, I'm stretching more. I'm being way more disciplined in my workouts. I'm doing different types of workouts, different types of plyometrics and such, and really just optimizing my vessel so that I can actually grow closer to the soul of existence. Because something I found recently, I've been doing a lot of jumps and, like jumping over these obstacles, and with weight, by the way, as well. I'm jumping like with 10-pound sandbags over these little hurdles. And something I've discovered is that because it's like a full body exercise, it's like this entirety of life, kind of just, you're going with density and against density of your body simultaneously when you're jumping. And I definitely have felt a deeper connection in my meditations recently. And I think also, as a fit celibate man, I've seen, even just within the last few weeks, because I've been in more of a fire element timeline, even in the last few weeks, I've seen a very big difference on how women are treating me. Now, I've seen the difference between being a thirsty gooner and a fit celibate man for years now. I've been celibate for years. But there's something about the last few weeks that's been different. And going to this massage therapist, I was able to see certain things that were releasing in my body, and certain things that I had, tensed up in my body. Because there's going to be tension, especially if you're working out a lot. You're going to have tension in your body. And, I had no idea how sore I was going to be, man. I really did not know how sore I was going to be. My calves are so sore because there was a lot of stress there that I didn't even know there was stress there, right? And so all of these things that we're releasing, it's like today there's this sense of equanimity, and what the Greeks may call as, well, they don't may call it, they actually call this, ancient Greeks call it ataraxia. So ataraxia is essentially robust equanimity. And so that's what, Buddha called enlightenment, basically. And one thing that I've noticed with women, especially over the last few weeks, and it could be the spirit of the time, because we have the solar eclipse last week, and then we have a lunar eclipse coming up next week. Astrologically, there's a lot of different things going on. And numerologically, I'm not necessarily one to be attached to these tools of spiritual endeavors, but I see them as systems to get out of systems to some degree, especially astrology recently. And people may not understand what I'm saying here, but that's because we've all been psyoped. Like, I used to think that astrology was, something crazy, and I thought this was only for crazy bitches, right? Like, this was something that only the crazy crystal ladies were interested in, was astrology. But now I'm thinking to myself, oh, they just don't know how to articulate themselves properly when it comes to what is actually going on. Spiritually speaking, they understand it to some degree, but a lot of these crazy crystal ladies, they don't know how to articulate it to themselves. so they get lost in the sauce. Like, one of the most important things you can do as a man, especially if you're a fit celibate man, is being articulate and being expressive and competent with your ability to articulate yourself. Because if you cannot properly articulate yourself, you're going to find it very difficult to, number one, market yourself. Number two, you're going to be rigid in your thought without even knowing you're rigid in your thought. And number three, it's almost as if you're going to be vague. Your sense of identity under yourself is going to be vague. Now, of course, identity is an illusion, but we have to have some sort of identity. It is show business. Like me, for example, the Regal Shamanic Alchemist with a full sack. That is an identity, but I'm not attached to the identity. But I know who I am. And I know who it is in that frequency. Because we embody the frequency. That's exactly what this is. And I think that's one of the reasons why women have been, treating me specifically very different over the past few weeks, is because I'm treating myself very differently. I'm taking myself more, not seriously, but more sincerely in a childlike, playful way, to where I'm giving myself permission, not even permission. I don't even want to say it like that, because it's not permission. It's just trusting myself to even further heights than I've ever done before. Like, for the last few years specifically, because there was a time when I didn't trust myself at all, specifically after like narcissistic abuse and such. But there were very many moments over the past few years where I've seen just this almost momentum building up, right? And even in the spirit of the time right now, I feel this momentum just building and building and building. And I don't know exactly what type of timeline I'm heading into, because I'm a lover of uncertainty. And if you've read my book, then you are aware of what I mean by that. But I'm a lover of uncertainty. So I don't really know exactly what timeline I'm heading next, but I know who it is that I want to be. And so I don't really care how it happens, because I don't need to know how it happens. Like, how it happens is going to be determined by the soul of existence. It's going to be determined by God. How this happens is going to be determined by just the powers of life itself. And all I know is that life will take care of life. So if I just embody the life that I want to be, then naturally I'm going to be embodying the frequency, and just the reality, this plane of consciousness is going to have to, reflect what I feel inside. If you've ever read Neville Goddard, this is the law of assumption, essentially. This is a very peculiar time for me, because I am treating myself so much more less as a liability, actually, and more of a, something to optimize and prioritize as an asset. And I've already been monetizing my mind. I've already been monetizing my experiences of life, because why shouldn't I? Why shouldn't anyone? If you have certain wisdom, insights, or experiences and knowledge, and you have the ability to assist others and help alleviate unnecessary suffering, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you monetize that? And because a lot of the people who are entitled to certain things, like, there's a reason why things are classified, in the government. Now, I'm not saying that the government should classify things. I'm not saying that they shouldn't classify things. I'm just saying there's a reason why in governments there are classified things, because sometimes people don't really deserve to know, because they just want the mechanics and the structure of something new and something great, without actually building the internal structure or the discipline to get that thing. And so what I found is that the more I allow my heart to just open and open and open and open, and just letting go of these attachments and noticing the attachments, number one, because that's like the ultimate gift that saves us, especially when you're a fit celibate man and you see certain patterns. Like, pattern recognition is going to save your life. It really will. Because I used to think when I was, so I'm 30 now, as of last month. When I was 24, 25, so 6 years ago or so, when I started to get kind of attractive, right? I lost the weight because I was nearly 200 pounds at 5'6". Okay, I was Mr. Hefty Boy. And I was a thirsty gooner. I was a thirsty gooner before that, and a beta male. And after I lost the weight, and after I kind of started to get this confidence, and I started to feel myself a little bit more, and I started to really just feel like, okay, I'm now on my path. I don't know exactly where this is going to lead. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know that I'm where I need to be, and I'm trusting that completely. All of a sudden, women started to see me different. And I thought at the time it was like the Holy Spirit, because I started to, read more into the Bible at the time, and I was starting to follow Christ. I don't follow Christ anymore, technically speaking, but I embody Christ's teachings to the best of my ability. And one thing that I thought was, I was like, man, maybe this is the Holy Spirit. Maybe these women want the Holy Spirit in me. Now, you can call it the Holy Spirit, I guess. You can call it just pure consciousness. You can call it Christ consciousness. Whatever you want to call it. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't matter to me what you call it. You could call it Krishna. You could call it Allah, or whatever it is. Whatever you want to call it doesn't matter. But the phenomenon of the empirical fact that is the happening in of itself was what was interesting to me. So what I discovered, oh yeah, nice fresh coffee in the morning. So what I discovered was that the more I just had self-respect, and the more that I was able to walk away from situations or people that I clearly was able to recognize through patterns that they were not good for me. And when I say not good for me, I mean they were not helping me grow. Because people either help you grow or they try to kill you. Like, that's really, it sounds very binary as far as a black and white view of life, but that's kind of it, right? Like, it's kind of the whole point. Like, even a few months ago, I was doing black and white videos for a week or two. And that was an artistic expression. Okay, people thought that I was. They were like, "Wow, what are you? Why are you doing this different? Are you going through a hard time?" It's like, no, I'm trying to live life artistically, actually, because I'm demonstrating a quality of life, and I would actually continue to do black and white videos because I kind of like the aesthetic, but it's a lot of, because I film on my phone, and the amount of processing data that it costs, and it just costs extra time to do. So I'm just not really for it. And especially if it's going to cost me time where I could be doing other things the message itself is what matters. The message itself. When I'm working with people in Godlike Mastery or in my Regal Academy, I don't really care, because I'm a very sovereign individual. I have the great fortune of being a sovereign individual. So I can do, calls for my Godlike Mastery sessions. Like, people that have done my Godlike Mastery offer know. I've done Godlike Mastery like out in the park, over at the library, at the study hall. I've been out and about. I'm a traveler. I'm kind of a wandering sadhu in some sense, right? If you don't know the term sadhu, then you're going to have to look it up. But I'm kind of a wandering sadhu in that sense. But at the same time, it's all about being able to recognize patterns. And something I recognized these patterns long ago when it came to women. When it came to women and their capacity to lie. And I saw that, okay, years ago when I first started to become more attractive and I really started getting myself together, there was a woman who I met where she after 2 months of talking, nearly in the talking stage, you could say, and thank goodness we didn't do anything extremely physical, but something that she didn't tell me, she failed to tell me, was that she was married. And then when I found out, I told her that I didn't really want to talk to her anymore and that we should probably just not talk. And then she tried to get me arrested, and she tried to get me arrested for for coming on to her, basically, when I found out that she was married. And I was like, this woman is straight up lying. She's straight up lying, trying to get me arrested. This is crazy. Because they were threatening to have the police called and everything. And I was like, there's no way this is actually happening. Like, because I knew men were capable of crazy things, but man, it wasn't until that point where I realized just how crazy women will be when it came to, and then I had like female stalkers and such. The way that women moved and behaved was just so bizarre. But now that I'm much more established in who I am, being nobody, because I'm nobody special, and yet that's what it means to be in godlike mastery. Like godlike mastery is a practice, and this is what I do with individuals. It's a 3-month program that is a system to help you get out of systems, and it's a practice. Like, this is something that I continuously do myself. Like, I don't just have this offer or this service and don't actually practice it myself. I do, because it helped me, and I saw that this was a system to get out of systems. And so this is my method, and we all have methods, spiritually, physically, emotionally, whatever you need to do it. I mean, you got to do it, but it's a matter of, well, are you going to be the person that portrays yourself in a certain way, that you buy into the image that you're creating? Or are you going to be able to see that it's show business? Like me being the Regal Shamanic Alchemist, I know that that's not my true identity, but I know that that's who I am for the system, right? And so I'm playing the part and I'm playing the character, and it's my role to play, and I'm very grateful for it, but I don't take it to be me, because it's not me. There's something else, right? Because the way that I see it is that the soul of existence, which is God, we're all the soul of existence. We're all God, and we're all one soul expressing itself in different forms. So the semantics, can be very different, but I'm very grateful to just be in the spirit of the time right now. It's just a great time to live life. It's a great time to be alive. Every day is a good day. It just kind of depends on how you view it, I guess. Like, if you feel like something I learned, over the past few years, I would say, is discipline, especially sexual discipline, where you're able to transmute the energy, because that's going to be the most important factor. And women will respond to you in certain ways when you know how to transmute energy. Like, I'm of the proclivity to think, because I haven't concluded this yet, but I'm at this point where I see that women will flock to you when you yourself are capable of transmuting life into life. Like, that's I haven't concluded anything yet, but I'm working through this in true time, not real time, but in true time, because those Regal Change old timers that are aware of the Regal timeline theory, that which is real is not always true, but that which is true is always going to be real. So being a thirsty gooner, and I didn't go into thirsty gooning as much as I thought I was going to in this video, but because I kind of had a topic idea in mind, but then I let the free-flowing consciousness do its thing. So yeah, women will respond to you and find you more attractive the more capable you are to generate life. That's really the creme de la creme of it. That's the core. So with that being said, apply to the Godlike Mastery offer or join the Regal Academy. I do not accept everybody to the Godlike Mastery simply because, it's a very high level program, and it takes an investment on your end as well as mine to really go through it and do the work together. So with that being said, peace be with you, be blessed, and until next time.